Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
You have got to get up pretty early to go do something. We are the Alternative Dig Talk. With our mobile studios, we are redefining TV presentation just as technology is setting the pace. We are blending our approach with fresh, perspectively designed breakfast show, The Mighty Drive, informative and entertainment show, exclusive and live interviews.
We President Museveni reduced namulaba apima kawunga kilo 2 tasobola kalya nini bwaba alya kilo 5 oyanemo kulisa egwanga ne bali mundekera.
Njagala kwebaza the Alternative Dig Talk etuwadde kano ka Mighty Drive era n'abatuwuliriza bonna abali ku mikutu njagala basaba mugendo maaso n'okuwuliriza.
All given to you just a click away on your phone, tablet, laptop and smart TVs as we are streaming live on our social media platforms, on the road and on the go. We are the Alternative Dig Talk.
People, you're welcome to the Snap Talk with your girl Teddy Tenjo every Saturday right from 6 to 7.
It is your responsibility omwana wo kubeera mu nyumba nga teyasuze bweru mbo bamubanja rent. Koyo kulaba abalenzi abasajja abakunga butuufu tebabuulirirwa nga babulamu.
Towerabira nti tuli wano ku the Alternative Dig Talk. Mukwano gwange gwali topic kiki wandyagadde twogereko. Is it about family?
You can take your time. Look for a job, stabilize, men will come, men will always be there, you will get the men. Bonna goyagala musajja jinna goyagala ojja mufuna.
Embaga ketuuke. Bino bintu byasenga na ojja bafuna.
Naye ng'oli asitudde ttu yakedde ku makyabbaga nti nsitudde ttu. Naye nga mubutuufu agambye nti gy'akyali. Akyali muto.
Is it outside family? Is it society? Oh, could it be relationships? Just be commenting nga topic yona gyandyagadde twogereko tujjako tujogera kwano ku the Alternative Dig Talk ku share enganzi the Snap Talk.
Hey Ugandans, I'm Lieutenant Colonel Dewa Kiki, the Deputy Defense Spokesperson and actually the Deputy Spokesperson for the Uganda People's Defense Forces. I was hosted on Alternative Dig Talk. I encourage all Ugandans that this is the way to go. Always watch, participate, give your views and ask questions on Alternative Dig Talk. Dig Talk, the way to go.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Zambia goes to the polls, ladies and gentlemen. The President of the Republic of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, has asserted that there is no beating of anybody. You should not beat anyone. Is it a civilian? Is it a security operative? You should not beat anyone. We need the rule of law and human rights protection in this country. The NRM is one of the biggest defenders of human rights and democracy. Ladies and gentlemen, those are not my words. Those are the words of the fountain of honor himself, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Welcome aboard. This is the Mighty Drive Show. Those are some of the biggest stories that we have today. But before we delve into that, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Mighty Drive Show. My name is Edgar Mathew Karuhanga. Today is the 16th day of August 2021. As you see, days are just going by each and every day. We are seeing different things. Today is the 16th. Yesterday was July. The other day was June. The other day was January. Ladies and gentlemen, what am I trying to tell you? That time is running. So if you are to run with time, ladies and gentlemen, you have to do what you're supposed to do in the time you're supposed to actually do it. Make sure that you do the right thing at the right time, in the right place, in the right moment. My name is Edgar Mathew Karuhanga. I am a journalist and the show host of the Mighty Drive Show. And in studios today, I have the lady Farida Bikobere, and we shall be having Mr. Chanwat Brian Geoffrey. He is the team leader at the Strategic Response International. You will know what that organization is actually all about, and he will be telling us much more. But this edition of the Mighty Drive starts on a very, very light note as we talk about what is happening in Zambia. Ladies and gentlemen, by the way, I can't say Arnold Mokose Anthony, my producer, and you know this magic cannot happen if we don't have Teddy Tenjo at Teddy Tenjo on Instagram, at Rogers Studio Habwe, and he's the one on camera. Then our director is Mr. Kato Tumusime. They're already in shape. It is a morning, it is a fresh week. We start off with fresh vibes. When I mean vibes, I'm meaning fresh news, ladies and gentlemen. The President of the Republic of Uganda addressed the country. That was on Saturday at exactly 8 p.m. where he was talking about the state of security in the country. And the things he was talking about have happened before. He was condemning the security operatives for the hard or the harsh methods of implementation they're using. As he was talking, he talked about torture. And when he was talking about torture, we had a couple of examples of people who have been tortured, like the people who were suspected of trying to assassinate General Katumba Wamala, and where they were able to actually kill or murder the daughter of Brenda, the daughter of the general and his particular driver. So President Museveni came out to condemn each and everyone who's using torture and the security operatives. And in his words, he says this is backward and laziness of the investigators. And he said that evidence got under torture is unreliable. Mukulu w'eggwanga we yayogedde watu President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni nakakasa nti okuchunya abantu, it's not something that is good, it's backward. Nagamba ate omuntu agenda kukkiriza omusango gw'omutaddeko just because you are inflicting pain on them, olimu muto charinga. Nagamba mbuno the NRM ekyayimira ku principles zaabwe eza patriotism ze balina nti bo, it has never been about torturing people. What it's always about Pan-Africanism, patriotism, and other ways. He said that he is going to bring out the report of what happened in November. You remember last year, November 18th and 19th, where we saw a couple of insurrections in this country. Bobby Wine Kyagulanyi, after being, I think he was arrested, yes, in Luka district, yes. When he was arrested in Luka district, we saw a lot of violence and protests that cropped up in the various parts of this country, starting from the capital, Kampala. From then, we saw a lot of people lose their lives in what they called stray bullets, and collateral damage. Many people were just shot like that. The president was asking himself, if you're saying this is a stray bullet, where exactly are you pointing the stray bullets? Or the stray bullets ziri waggulu or zikuba waggulu, you must have a direction when you are shooting at someone. He said you can box someone in case he also boxes you, but you don't have any right to shoot them. You can only shoot them if they refuse your arrest and they try to shoot back at you, or shoot something at you. Then that means you are accepted to shoot. He also said that killing is only allowed in battle, but it is not allowed in war. It is not allowed in the normal day-to-day lives of Ugandans. He says when you arrest someone and you try them, then they can actually hang them, and when they hang them, even their mothers, I'm using the words of the president, that even their mothers will understand, or if they don't, and if they will support them, or if they don't support them, they will actually understand why they have actually done this. I think this should be a wake-up call to the security operatives, the police, the army, and everybody who's in the security, the ISOs and ISOs of this world and the CMIs, because these are the biggest perpetrators of actually human rights abuses. Because when you look at the report that has been made, I think from 2009 up to 2017, yes, the report index on the human rights report in Uganda, the biggest perpetrators of the human rights violations are the policemen and the other security operatives. This is actually something that is really it's not understandable, because these people are actually supposed to be the people who protect human rights and democracy. But if they are they're the biggest perpetrators of human rights abuses in this country, that is very saddening. The president as well talked about a Myoga scheme. This is zino za sente ze bateekawo kuyamba bannayuganda individually and households be something better or make a better life for themselves. So president yagambye emyoga gyakayamba abantu million 4 million people have actually gained from the Myoga fund. But according to the members of parliament who represent these particular individuals, bo bagamba mbu sente zino nno zirimu oba sectarianism kyembangamba simanyi nti no bazikuwa because maybe you are an NRM cadre, you are an NRM leader on the district or something like that, but it has not actually gone to the various people who actually need this money. Why? Because these people are not in support of the ruling regime. Nga bagamba abantu abagaba sente z'emyoga zino abantu baba supporting NRM yoka, naye oba opposition oba togenda kufuna ku sente z'emyoga, which is indiscriminative in nature. Sorry, which is discriminative in nature. You cannot really give someone funds. These funds are for Ugandans, that if you're giving them on virtue of someone being an NRM cadre or not, that brings in discrimination, which is something that is so wrong. Yeah, President Yabye Wakanye nagamba, you people should accept emyoga gino jije because abantu bali mukufuna more than they can actually get. So ladies and gentlemen, I think your State of the Nation address President Museveni yayogera olunaku lwali lwamukaga sawa 2 ez'ekiro. Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu yavuddeyo exactly nga President yakamala okwogera. I don't know if Kyagulanyi sometimes researches about the things he wants to talk about. I know how many of you are seeing me as an enemy now, because when you talk about Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, you become an enemy of various people. But Kyagulanyi has a way of just jumping onto things. Sometimes I think as a leader you need to sit down and research and scrutinize things before you actually say some things. I'm not saying this because of what he said about the presidential address, but I'm looking at the things he has been saying over time. Remember when he was talking about Lumbuye and he was advocating for the release of Lumbuye, he did not research enough to realize that Lumbuye was not even in the country and had not been arrested by that time. And so sometimes Kyagulanyi can just jump onto things because of sentiment, and if you're a leader, sentiment does not actually work. Robert Kyagulanyi yavuddeyo n'agamba the president has been lying to the faces of Ugandans, and he says he is speaking as opposition to his own regime, which is somehow true. Because these things, President Museveni has talked about them before, and he's just contradicting himself. Because President Museveni talked, I think that was 2019, yes, 2019, yeah. Waliwo event yali ku Kololo airstrip bali bafulumya bannamagye n'agamba mbuno okuba Kyagulanyi. It was right. People are saying they beat an MP, blah, blah, blah. I went and did my research, and when I researched, I realized that they had beat him properly. And so I told the boys that it's okay. You remember those statements that President Singa, a producer and footage of Adamu in a solo kumuraga, President Ayogere Chigambe Chuchenyini, bali passing out bannamagye ku Kololo airstrip. Then a few months now, go down the road, and President Museveni is the same person who's saying that you cannot justify beating of Ugandans. So where is the thin line between these two? What is President Museveni actually meaning? Is it okay to beat the Kyagulanyis and not okay to beat other people? Or he had just forgotten the words that he had spoken earlier on? That is the President of the Republic of Uganda. Most of the times he contradicts himself, but he is indeed the fountain of honor and one of the most intelligent men we have. Let's go Chris over to Zambia. Chechigena maso mugwanga lya Zambia wetwogeranga hakainde hichilema wetwogera sawa, and I think these results are as at last night. Akainde Hichilema akyakulembedde President Edgar Lungu. Edgar Lungu anno yayimiriza okubala obululu ng'agamba there has been foul play badde bamubba akalulu. Imagine I would long to wait and have a leader, an African leader say bannange bantwala mu kalulu. These are kino kyekiraga nti ensi egenda mu maaso. Ono mu Uganda sirabanga konga President Museveni bamukulembedde mu kalulu nga kakatandika obbalibwa. I have not seen that before and I think I'm not going to see it anytime soon. Hakainde Hichilema yavuddeyo n'agamba ye yabadde akulembedde. Edgar Lungu yavuddeyo president aliko ssaawa zino n'agamba bali mu kumubba kalulu, n'agamba mbuno abakubye nnyo abantu be babasse n'okubatta. Songa agamba akalulu asooke bakapozinge okukabala naye bannamateeka mu Zambia bamuviiriddemu ne bamugamba sebo, it is your right to say that yes, this process is not free and fair, but it is not your right to stop the counting of election. The constitution gives you a 1 week a time where you can file your complaint in the courts in the Supreme Court. You can filing kalulu gigenda straight to the court, to the Supreme Court. So mu Zambia boss will get straight to the Supreme Court no yogera grievance joina. So yagambye bamugambye bannamateeka abali mu Uganda Law Society yeri oba kiyite Zambia Law Society ne bamugamba sebo soko olindeko akalulu kamala okuggwa olyoka osobola okutebolinga grievances zongo naye tusikirungi okuba ng'oyimiriza akalulu kabala just because you say you're anticipating foul play. Zino nesigwe gusoose nga Zambia ekyusa obuyinza okuva mu kyenda mugumu Kenneth Kaunda founding father waayo ebamubba akalulu yali abafuze ebbanga lyali liwanvu nnyo. Abamukuba akalulu bamala omukuba akalulu okuva olubaze nga bakyusa abakulembeze b'eggwanga ndoza emyaka egisembeyo wali abakulembeze abafudde naye ng'ozolaba there is a change of guard in Zambia. So ono musajja Hakainde Hichilema ali mu kutwala abantu embirigo ssaawa zino yakesimbawo emirundi 6 ng'abadde alemu okubeera president w'eggwanga lino erya Zambia in his 6th time by the mirundi 5 ng'abadde alemwa naye omulundi gwe ogw'omukaaga asobodde okuba nga akyakulembedde right now. Tetunakakasa muno ye president wa Zambia omujja oba omulonde naye kye tukakasa kiri kimu nti akyakulembedde Edgar Lungu president aliko mu kalulu akali mu ggwanga eryo erya Zambia. Iyo nga wogimanye emmamba bamaze dde okuzijjuza ekibuga Lusaka ekya Zambia okubanga bagenda mu maaso n'akalulu okubanga kali free and fair. Naye mu mmamba zonna ze bayiye president w'eggwanga omwami ono asigadde akyakulembedde Hakainde Hichilema. We may see a change of guard in Zambia. That is one of the closest countries near us. The Premier League returns. Before I go to the Premier League news, akampite mangu Express yawangula ekikopo kyawe ekyasoose ekyase Kafa Senior Club Challenge Cup. Bakiwangudde bakubye ttiimu ya Nyanza Bullets okuva e Malawi goal yabaddemu ku bwereere. Omwana Martin Kiza yakubye goal mu dakiika ya 22 eyarendarinze Express FC mukwano gw'abanji, the champions of the Great Lakes region. Congratulations Express FC mukwano gw'abanji. When they wear red, you know it is time for battle. So ladies and gentlemen, Express kati yakawangula Uganda Premier League yawangudde Sekafa eri ku finals eza Uganda Cup ate bagenda kwanga bazanya ne CAF Champions League qualifiers nazo bagenda kwanga bazizanya. Katulinde tubasabire bana abaana. They have really shown a lot of potential. Martin Kiza akubye goal bulungi, Murushid Juko mukimanya asama mpira mulungi. Kwegamba Express FC is the club of the moment. Congratulations lads, may you continue soaring. The Premier League yakomyewo olunaku weekend yabadde yaluli yewedde sorry yejo Saturday, Sunday and Friday. We saw the Premier League start off in their match day 1. Arsenal ngabulijjo yakomyewo yatandiki dewe yakoma baba kube goal ya zawade bidi. A newly promoted club that is Brentford. After 74 years the Brentford tebadde Premier League gweze esokede ku Arsenal ne mukuba goal zawade bidi kubwerere abantu bangi bayogedde muline president wa Rwanda Mr. Paul Kagame yayogedde nagamba banange Arsenal tuli ku ki wake up Arsenal. Awa abawagizi wa Arsenal bamanyi bangi Arsenal James Bruce yeyo mukimugunyo kala uladizo okay. Manchester United yaguddewo the scene on Saturday 2:30 wetwalabenga bakuba Leeds goals at the 5 kwemu abasajja ba Manchester United. Twalabyawo Bruno Fernandes yakubye hat-trick. Yagambye he was waiting for the opportune time ngabawagizi bakomyewo okubanga abawa kinyini kyemwetaaga hat-trick ye yasoose. Now Bruno Fernandes is playing some nice football and excellent football at that. Bruno Fernandes and Manchester United are looking to win the Premier League at 2021-2022. Paul Pogba yakoze assists zabadde nnya ku goal 5 ezateebeddwa ekisajja kino bannange Kwegamba Manchester United is really playing good football. Liverpool yakubye Norwich City zade goals kusatu ku bwerere. Mohamed Salah yabaddeko on the score sheet, kwabaddeko Roberto Firmino Barbosa ne Diogo Jota. Abonno be baddewo PSG ya unveiling Leo Messi ekisawe kyajjudde abana. PSG ekoze ekintu Real Madrid kyakola mu 2-2 abajjukira we basaininga abasajja nga mukaaga abajja ne bawonga ne Champions League yonzika ne World Cup wa 2002 omwali ba Roberto Carlos basaininga Dalima ne basaininga bakaka kwegamba baleta bajita the team of Galacticos baleta ba Galactico bakuba omupiira mulungi kwegamba ne PSG kyenyini kyekoze PSG lese ba Galactico ku timu eno balese Ashraf Hakimi kana kakuwa mulungi namba 2 kawango de Serie A ne baleta omusajja Lionel Messi ono yesagala na kumwogera kumwe namu mazni Sergio Ramos is an all-time winner waline ebikopo bina ebya Champions League ina World Cup ina Euros 2 Sergio Ramos ngomuje balese Gigi Donnarumma I had a player of the season wali ku Euros ngobade bazanya player of the tournament yakutompira gwalde mulungi na wangu na ekikopo kye ekya Euros kwegamba gega mawulire nno gold medalist Joshua Cheptegei yawaddeyo omudali gwo gwa zaabu na gusigamu omwami Stephen Kiprotich ngagamba that he has done a lot of things for his country and for his club for inspiring ladies and gentlemen other people. Producer ngambe dakika ziweddeyo zile dakika 2 ezakaita kusawe mwe yokumacha amanya nze Edgar Mathew Karuhanga. We go for a short commercial break, but when we come back we start off the discussion. We have Mr. Chanwat Brian Geoffrey. He is the team leader at Strategic Response International. My name is Edgar. Let's go for a short commercial break. We shall be right back.
Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Hey Ugandans, I'm Lieutenant Colonel Dewa Kiki, the Deputy Defense Spokesperson and actually the Deputy Spokesperson for the Uganda People's Defense Forces. I was hosted on Alternative Dig Talk. I encourage all Ugandans that this is the way to go. Always watch, participate, give your views and ask questions on Alternative Dig Talk. Dig Talk, the way to go.
Beautiful people, you're welcome to the Snap Talk with your girl Teddy Tenjo every Saturday right from 6 to 7.
It is your responsibility omwana wo kubeera mu nyumba nga teyasuze bweru mbo bamubanja rent. Koyo kulaba abalenzi abasajja abakunga butuufu tebabuulirirwa nga babulamu.
Towerabira nti tuli wano ku the Alternative Dig Talk. Mukwano gwange gwali topic kiri wandiyagadde twogereko. Is it about family?
You can take your time, look for a job, stabilize, men will come, men will always be there, you will get the men. Bonna goyagala musajja yina goyagala jamufuna.
Embaga ketuuke. Bino bitu yasenga na ojabba funa.
Naye ng'oli asitudde ttu yakedde ku macabaga nti nsitudde ttu. Naye nga mubutuufu agambye nti gy'akyali. Akyali mutoki.
Is it outside family? Is it society? Oh, could it be relationships? Just be commenting at topic yona gyandiyagadde twogereko tujja kwa tujogera kwano ku the Alternative Dig Talk ku share enganzi the Snap Talk.
Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
It is a Monday, the 16th of August, the year 2021. We have 4 months to go to 2022. What have you done in this year? I will be reminding you, mlekerawo kwekwasa COVID-19. COVID is here to stay. Will you tell us next year, because of COVID, I've not achieved my goals? Even in 2024, you will have to tell us the same thing, because COVID is here. Because it is the reason I have not achieved my goals. I had Edgar talk about Arsenal, and then I remembered someone who told me, like, nowadays supporting Arsenal, you have a direct ticket to becoming a motivational speaker. It's like, yeah, that's Arsenal. But yeah, we do not lose hope. My Arsenal fans, please don't lose hope. It is just a game, one game. You can do better. You can. The other game that determines the whole. No, they can do better. They can actually do better if they improve. Yeah, it is a Monday. The page is the Alternative Uganda. It is the Mighty Drive. Go and follow us and like, and then get engaged in the discussion. Our quote of the day is: people are like garbage trucks. When that truck gets full, they will look for a place to dump their garbage. And guess what? Sometimes that place is you. Sometimes that place is you. But what I want to tell you is never take anything of that personal. Never take anything of what they say to you personal, because you are 80% of how you react to people, what they say, to situations, how you handle everything. You are 80% a product of your reactions. And you have to know that some people are full, their trucks get full of garbages, frustrations, poverty. People are really depressed, people are sad. So they will look for a place to dump their garbage. And most times that place will be you. Never take what they say personal, because that will determine who you are. At times, not giving a no reaction is the best choice you would do. So yeah, ignoring, learn to ignore people, learn to ignore situations, learn to ignore anything that is dumped onto you that will help you succeed. It is a Monday. I wanted to motivate you. I want to give you how you should react to people. It is a new week. You can make a change and then maybe achieve a thing. I remember I told you, or I celebrate your little successes. They will lead you to the big achievements you are there praying for. If you do not celebrate your little successes, you will not know whether you are succeeding or going back. So always celebrate. You will tell me you do not have money, go and buy a soda. That is a celebration. Those are efforts. In this Uganda, even being sane is a success. Celebrate it. People are dying, people are depressed, people are sad. If you are really okay and you can wake up every day and go and work and get a 1,000, that is an achievement. It is a Monday. I have Counsel Chanwat Geoffrey in the studios. We are going to talk human rights. Human rights. Femukama atwagala nti president yabadde yankamala okwogera ku security ne tufuna wa human rights babadde bazunga mu kooti oli bamukubye nga yeekalakaasa ono gize bwati ne bwati byonna gwe beerako olowooza tetugenda gye kuba mu presidential address ebituli twagala kumanya yo ddembe lya buntu lyeriri wano mu Uganda. Do you believe we have it, Edgar?
I do believe we have it, but to some extent, that's when we have it. But
let it what percentage?
I would say 65 to 70%. The 30%, yeah. The 30%. Because when you look at the general perspective of this country, there is respect of human rights. But then there are those isolated cases that are there, and they are growing by the day. So Counsel will be talking about that. I'm a journalist. I am not a human rights defender. I am a human rights defender, by the way. But I'm not. I don't know. But I'm not well conversant. I am.
You are not well conversant.
Sometimes with the rule of laws and how they work. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard. It is, I think, 30 minutes past 7 a.m. Our guest, Mr. Chanwat Brian Geoffrey, is already in studios. Mr. Chanwat is unique. I've not had that name anywhere.
Really?
Yes, it's a unique name, Chanwat. I know why it's a Nkuma. Oh no, yeah, Chanwat. Chanwat, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Good morning to you. So let's talk about Chanwat. How did Chanwat come to be your name?
I cannot.
Do a discussion?
I cannot tell how I got the name,
Yeah.
but
Is it a religious name?
it's a naturally name. Yes, I personally
You
come
mind
from
telling
nowhere.
us what it means? Like,
It actually means I don't have relatives. Yeah.
Okay.
But
you actually don't have relatives.
I have
in
plenty.
real
I
life.
don't know. Maybe at the time I was born, it was an isolated case, so I have very few relatives according to the name. But I have plenty in actual.
Relatives,
Yeah.
actually. Okay, Chanwat, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you today.
Thank you very much.
Okay, let's talk about yourself before we delve into the discussion. One who's out there would love to know, who is Chanwat Brian?
Oh, great. Thank you for the question. My name is Brian Geoffrey Chanwat. I am a lawyer by training, and I am the team lead at Strategic Response International. Strategic Response International is a network of young lawyers whose business, sole business, is human rights, pro-democracy, and social justice. So for the last 3 years, when we got organized, we have been at the helm of defending rights for all, particularly human rights defenders. I am happy to know that you're a human rights defender.
Yeah, I'm a human rights defender.
Yeah. So we've given robust legal support to individuals whose rights have been threatened, and we've not charged them any money. So that's the beauty. So we operate in a way that we are all over the country. We are not in Kampala or Mukono, or we are all over the place. So how we do it is that we avail the nearest lawyer to where the case arises.
Okay.
I'll give an example that, for instance, there is an issue in Gulu, and then somebody reaches out. We will not be able to say, okay, now who is in Kampala,
to
take
go
a
and
bus,
go,
and then you go and then
So
respond.
you already have someone
Yeah.
who's there, you just
Yeah,
call
we'll
them.
just link up with that person who will urgently attend to the matter. Or in the event that we don't have that person within, we are able to avail the nearest location. For instance, Gulu and maybe Kitkuma are close if we have one. So in actual sense, we are cutting costs in terms of time, resources, and so many other things.
Why did you decide, I'm sorry for interjecting you, why did you decide to start up Strategic International, the Strategic Response
International?
Yes. What was the core goal when you were starting up this particular organization?
Yeah.
And who started it up, by the way? Was it you? I don't know.
Yes,
You can throw more light.
I am the founder with my colleague Moses. So when we were at the university, we did a lot of outreaches, and we saw the gap in terms of knowledge, in terms of the lack of empowerment, in terms of the nature of rights violations across. We started out in northern Uganda, where we trained so many people on their rights, particularly the issue of land rights in that part of the country. So due to this constant engagement, we saw the need. And then we were like, you know what, we can actually get organized. 2018 came, we decided to formally organize, but ideally we were a loose coalition of law students at the time. And then when we finished, we said, okay, let's get organized. We could actually empower more people on this. So 2018, we eventually started out. Yeah. Right now, we are actually 270 lawyers across the country. Yeah.
When you were starting up this, were you starting it up as a creation of employment for other lawyers, or was it more of a purpose and passion for human rights advocacy?
Well, the sole aim is for the purpose of empowerment of the citizenry. But also when you talk of employment, when you go to law school, the pomp, the vigor, the energy is all looking at, okay, as soon as I'm done, I'm going to be driving a Range Rover when I hit a deal or something like that. So it is very unlikely that you will get one young lawyer who is interested in human rights, because it doesn't pay. Yeah, it's a sacrifice. So for us, we decided to just give it, our best to make sure that the little that we may get, there is always an impact in the society. So ideally, the issue of employment is very minimal, if we are to consider it as it's more of a service, yes, because it's about selflessness. You cannot be all over the place, So we decided to cut the gap, because there were very few young lawyers who were interested in human rights work. So as an organization, we have been trying to pick them out, yeah? So we identify you while still in law school, and then give you the nurturing, the training, and then when you come out, you will robustly go, response,
That is exactly what I was going to even ask you. You preempted it, but I want you to go more details. Under what criteria do you get these people, the lawyers that you recruit? You said you're 270
yes.
now. Under what criteria do you say that we want this one? We must have this and this and this in order for you to join our team? Are there some qualifications at that?
There is no necessary qualification. What we do is we have a program called the Lawyers for Democracy Fellowship. So it is through that fellowship that we identify young lawyers. With social media now, anybody can walk in and your online house and get in touch, and then you keep in touch. So we bring senior lawyers, of course, in the human rights field, pro-democracy and social justice, and then they talk to these young people. Now the intention of this speaking is to draw them closer, to inspire them, to bring them aboard to human rights work, and it has really worked. So we don't necessarily want to limit anybody that, okay, you're a first year law student, you don't qualify. No. This service is about passion. This service is about the zeal. So if you don't have it, then you will never, you'll probably go into corporate and commercial practice. Yeah.
Do you people have branches all over the country?
Due to resources, we are unable to have that, but we deal with individual lawyers.
Are you directly located? Like, in which parts of Uganda are you?
For now, we decided to do it regionally. We've so far established in Kampala, where our secretariat is, in Minister's Village in Tinda. And in Gulu, we have an office. But in other parts of the country, for instance, in Mbarara, we now have an office as well. But in other parts of the country, we deal with individual lawyers. For instance, if we know that there's maybe Tony the other side, we're able to reach out to Tony.
What determines your choice of areas? Is it because there are high rates of violation of human rights in those places, so you say, oh no, this time let's go and set an office in Imbara, it should be Gulu this time? What determines your choice of areas to do offices?
There is no such thing as a determinant. It's where we have available lawyers, that's already an office. Yeah, so we cannot again preempt and say, we've not had issues in Barara, so I don't think we are needed there. Yeah, so we just make sure that when the need arises, we are there. Yeah.
Do you welcome passionate people who are really passionate about defending and protecting human rights to be part of you, but they are not lawyers?
Yes, we deal directly with human rights defenders.
Who are not lawyers and they're working with you? But when you say CLI is a team of lawyers.
Well, I don't mean being part of the team, but we work closely with them. So there's a direct linkage between our lawyers and human rights defenders across the board.
Let's talk about the challenges that you are facing as human rights defenders in this country where there are high rates of human rights violations.
Wow, that could take me the whole day to list.
You'll have to summarize the challenges.
Yeah. So as an entity, we've not received...
any threats?
Of course threats are there. That one I don't have to mention. They already know. Yeah, so the threats are there. I recall in 2018 we had just started out, and then we tracked the Tojikwatako campaign, and the backlash we got was really it's scary. We had just started out, and then we were like, okay, so this is how deep the water is, but let's swim on. Yeah, so we went on and continued swimming. Yeah, but the threats continue to exist. We have threats which come as far as, getting to the person.
To the person.
Yeah, not the entity. Yeah. So we try to move through, but also our individual lawyers.
From the government?
I don't want to point fingers, but the usual guys who threaten.
People?
Yeah, some
random
of them.
Numbers?
Yeah, sometimes you're trailed by one guy for 1 week. You see the same face behind you, see the same face in front of you for a week, and then okay, you get the message. Yeah, but we've learned to to use panyas also to avoid them. Yeah. So we have challenges as individuals, first of all as lawyers, that we are threatened. And then when it comes to the entity, it is more of resource mobilization. We cannot be all over the place because of the limited resources. Yeah. Whereas our services are free, but it requires us to move. Yeah. Even if I go to the nearest lawyer, he will require to take a boda, he will drive his car, and all those are resources being incurred in. So as an entity, we are unable to, provide all that full, robust, immediate support. So it takes a bit of lobbying and trying to negotiate and all that. Yeah, but nonetheless we are pushing on. Yeah.
Okay, but you've talked about one challenge, but we shall go back to the challenges.
And you told us it will take if we need to talk.
Yeah.
But then
but that's okay.
There's someone here who has just told me, who has just texted us something small, that he wants to know the evolution of human rights, because he's seeing this as he used in his word, it's a systematic problem, the problem with our system. Can you just give us the evolution of how we reached where we are, and what is the state of the human rights in this country right now? You as a human rights lawyer, and you've been in the field for a while now, you know something that they don't know.
Yes, I must admit that we've come from very far. The evolution of human rights is not one from Uganda, but it comes in from the global perspective in terms of the formation of the UN, and then we have the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. We have those charters. Yeah, so it has come that far. Yeah, but nonetheless, before all those, we saw the violations. We saw the, for instance, the formation of Red Cross, which came in to help, victims of war and all that. But as a country, I'll just go to what we have now. Whereas there were challenges in the past with the previous regimes in terms of the rogue nature of handling human rights matters. The 1995 Constitution came in straight up when it came to protection of human rights. We have a whole chapter of human rights under Chapter 4 of the Constitution. So it has been a long time coming, and we've seen evolutions. There have been laws made towards protecting the same rights that are enshrined. So in this country, before the passing of the Human Rights Enforcement Act 2019, we had Article 50 in the Constitution, which gave mandate for anybody to sue for any human rights matter. But then with the coming in of the Human Rights Enforcement Act, it gave more life to that particular article, that anybody could sue, and the people who are sued, for instance, the government, an individual, police officer, security operative, or any individual, would be held personally liable. So it has come that far that ideally the government was held responsible under vicarious liability. But now
right now it's the individual, the perpetrator of that human rights abuse.
Exactly, the perpetrator can be held accountable for their offences against maybe an individual. So that is how far we've come. But the evolution continues. We have the Human Rights Defenders Protection Bill, I think. in Parliament. We hope that it will also be passed to give more life to human rights defense work, because human rights defenders are there, but there is no particular law that protects them.
Yes,
so we are hoping that when this bill is passed, it will probably protect them. Yeah, we just pray that it continues, the process urgently is concluded.
Brian, we have a challenge that we are looking at the human rights violations that are maybe of recent, but we've seen people who have violated these human rights way back in the 80s, but even up to now they've not been brought to book.
Yeah.
And how you as a human rights defender and lawyer, how do you really tell someone like myself that I'm going to get justice in 2021, but there are people who are crying that have not got justice since the 80s? So are there some things that you as an organization, are there some policies that you're taking to make sure that maybe we first answer the violations that have been there before, because people have been actually violated in the 80s, in the 70s, and coming in the 90s. We've seen a lot of human rights violations. But do you think maybe there's a way of treating those violations as you're also looking onto the future and the present now?
Well, one thing we need to know is that the wings of justice are very slow, but sure. So sometimes it may take a bit of time, and sometimes it may be, so quick.
Sometimes it may never.
There are circumstances.
Most times, let me even add on most times in a system like ours.
I personally have so much hope. I personally have so much belief in our justice system.
It's not many Ugandans that have that belief.
I also have much belief in our justice.
So
Edgar, you are alone.
Yeah, but I'm speaking for millions of Ugandans there.
Yeah, whereas there are those challenges that exist, we have seen successes.
Yes.
We've seen the least we expect, then boom, we get something that will throw the people. So that is a good sign.
Okay.
So you don't have to lose hope as yet. Yeah, we know the challenges exist, but we continue to believe that over time, through advocacy, over or maybe even continued engagement with the justice sector people, there will be a transformation in the justice system.
Okay.
Yeah, so back to your question, it is true that there are some cases that have been handled, and there are those that are still being handled, and there are those that have never been handled. Yeah, but nonetheless, justice will always be served. I cannot speak for the judiciary, neither can I speak for lawyers in pursuit of these cases, but I believe that there are some gaps that have failed to be addressed, and it is because of those gaps that the justice has stalled, the process has stalled. Yeah, because if there is no person willing to come out and say that yes, this happened to me, then justice, the process cannot go on. However, now with the new law, we have you can sue for her, yeah, irrespective of whether she wants it or yes. So you can take for anybody.
Counsel, you say Edgar could actually see that I am being violated.
Yes.
And he will go and sue on my behalf,
yes,
even when I have not instructed him,
yes,
even when I do not want to sue anyone.
Yes, we have the public interest litigation that, for instance, a community is having an issue, a rights issue. So Edgar and I can decide to go and sue on behalf of those people. Yeah. So the evolution continues, like I mentioned. Yeah. So for me, Edgar, back to your question, I think that there is a gap that is not being, filled for the process to go on. We just hope that these people can maybe come out and front their challenges, so that the courts of law can address them. Yeah, ideally there is supposed to be compensation for all rights violations, and also punitive punishments for the violators, the individual violators. Yeah, so we hope that through these challenges, you saw the other time the case of Honorable Zake.
Yes.
Yeah, his matter was disposed of in less than a year?
Yes, less than a
yeah,
year.
so
He was given compensation, 75 million. Yeah.
Exactly. So that is a sign that the justice system is not dead.
Okay.
That through continued, the right approach, the right legal procedure, then you can always achieve what you have. And also, most of these people whose rights have been violated and have not come out to date probably have not approached lawyers, have not approached organizations, have not approached individuals who they can talk to walk them through or to guide them into the process. So that is what I feel is why there is that challenge of since 80 you have not even gone to a police station or you don't have any reports.
Yeah. But by the way, many Ugandans out there do not believe in filing those reports because when they say you're going to waste a lot of money in court and a lot of time in court, sometimes the police, I think there is that thing that that feeling that it's not the other people actually giving us a service, but it's you to lobby for your service or fight for that service. I think you understand what I'm saying, Counsel.
I get you.
Yes. I don't know how can we solve this as a country, because if we have this system and we have grown seeing this system and now we are becoming men and then our kids are also going to grow in the same system, do you think many people will die without actually getting justice?
That's true. However, there are challenges that have come. Others date as far back as the 80s, others date as soon as yesterday. So for me, I think the right approach would be the continued advocacy, telling these people the right thing. For instance, most of the cases die at police level, because you will invest in a lot of money and then the police will, not do a good job.
Riding around, going around in circles.
And then, I'll give an example of the criminal justice system, that some of these criminals, they walk scotch-free because of maybe the poor investigation.
Yes. The president called them lazy investigators.
Yes,
they don't want to do their job.
You simply want to torture somebody to admit and then boom, I've cracked the case.
I've cracked the case.
Yes, so
they're looking for the easiest way out.
You've actually preempted it. So there is always that quick problem-solving skill, in courts that they think, just beat the hell out of the guy. He'll say yes, take it as a confession. And our laws prohibit, extracting a confession or extracting information through punishment. Because it doesn't amount to torture yet, but you're literally punishing the man for simply being at your station. So you just want him, Whereas our laws also say that you are not guilty until proven guilty.
Yes.
I think in Uganda, when you're arrested, you're
guilty.
You're already guilty.
It's like the United States. You can even until proven innocent.
You can even see the mode of arrest. In 1 second, the men, your belt, you're lifted up, and then if
even the women, they will bring male officers to arrest a female suspect, and you're like,
these days they have tried to really be professional.
They bring a fellow.
They are bringing mostly fellow females.
Yes.
To get that, and we've seen at least that is a plus on their side.
Like I said, it keeps improving by the day through the right engagement with them. So the way someone is picked up, because Edgar, however smart you are right now, if they came there and then you're asking, hey guys, what's up? Could you just tell me why you're taking me? Shut up, grab you, throw you, Yet this is something supposed to be engaging, that, we've received this and this and this. We think that we may want you to say something, but not from here. We advise you that you follow us.
If you refuse and resist arrest, that's when they can use the force.
Exactly.
And minimal force.
Yes. So I am happy that some of these things have come to the president's attention. I don't know if they have just come to his attention, but I have a feeling he already knew them, but he decided to keep quiet. But it's good that he has spoken about them, the mode of arrest, the beating, the torture, and all that. This is something he should have talked of way back. So for me, as a lawyer, I think that it's a step in the right direction. We don't know what motivated him to say that, whereas others say that donors are squeezing and all that.
That's the truth.
Yeah, but since we don't know his intention, let us just believe that it's for the good of Ugandans. The week has started. We are live on TV. We are going to be seeing these things. Should we see any officer probably do the contrary to what the man directed, then we'll know that, I think the in-charge did not listen to that address.
But I think we shall see them doing contrary to what he was saying. But what we wait to see is how he will be handled after the action.
Violating.
After them violating, what next?
Yeah, I mean, but for me, I think that first of all, he
because
did not.
Even yesterday they were actually cleaning people in town. So
Yeah. For me, I think that first of all, that address, he had all the evidence.
Yes.
He
has always had the
yeah,
evidence.
he even instructed, replay that one, pause there, you know. so he literally knew what was going on. So I think that what he could have done was to simply identify those people or order that they are investigated to show that I have not just spoken, there is action ongoing. Yeah, so he should have maybe, you know, try to get those people or be brought to book. Yeah, I think that would have been, we wouldn't see this reaction that okay, maybe donors are squeezing him. Like, crack the whip, you know, just get everybody, hold them accountable. Okay, for the press.
Yeah, that's
for the
thing.
press, just console us.
Just work it for us,
Yeah.
so that you can be rest
Yeah,
assured that hey, this gentleman who beat a journalist last time has been.
Yeah,
You know?
because you imagine the trauma that the lady, let me give an example, the lady who was being whipped, you know, as she was running, she only had a handbag. And the best she could do was, she cannot run so fast, she's a woman, what if she falls? And then this one is fully, you know, she's all well dressed, combat, you know, police uniform, fit for purpose, yeah? And she's whipping, you know. It's a bad image. Look at the trauma she's going through, and now that she has been put on the spotlight during the address. Yeah. So that alone goes back to the psychological effect of such exposure. Yeah, because this is everybody. I'm sure she's in her neighborhood. People are like, hey, you are the one.
You're going to work Counsel, you post from there, ladies and gentlemen. We go for a short commercial break, ladies and gentlemen. We have Mr. Chanwat Brian Geoffrey. He's a human rights lawyer and the team leader of Strategic Response International. When you come back from the break, we're going to talk about, the mass human rights violations. We've seen people being murdered in big numbers. For example, the murder in Kasese and other human rights violations. Why haven't these gentlemen who have led these things been brought to book up to now? And we're also asking ourselves, many people have been compensated by court for human right for being violated, but the money and the compensation rarely comes to them. That and much more comes your way in the second hour of the Mighty Drive. We go for a short commercial break.
Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Hey Ugandans, I'm Lieutenant Colonel Dewa Kiki, the Deputy Defense Spokesperson and actually the Deputy Spokesperson for the Uganda People's Defense Forces. I was hosted on Alternative Dig Talk. I encourage all Ugandans that this is the way to go. Always watch, participate, give your views and ask questions on Alternative Dig Talk. Dig Talk, the way to go.
Beautiful people, you're welcome to the Snap Talk with your girl Teddy Tenjo every Saturday right from 6 to 7.
It is your responsibility omwana wo kubeera mu nyumba nga teyasuze bweru mbo bamubanja rent. Koyo kulaba abalenzi abasajja abakunga. Butufu tebabuulirirwa nga babulamu.
Tewerabira nti tuli wano ku the Alternative Dig Talk. Mukwano gwange gwali topic kiri wandyagadde twogereko. Is it about family?
You can take your time, look for a job, stabilize. Men will come. Men will always be there. You will get the men. Bonna goyagala musajja yenna goyagala ojja mufuna.
Embaga ketuuke. Bino bintu byasenga na ojja bafuna.
Naye ng'oli asitudde ttu yakedde ku makyabbaga nti nsitudde ttu. Naye nga mubutuufu agambye nti gy'akyali. Akyali muto.
Is it outside family? Is it society? Oh, could it be relationships? Just be commenting nga topic yona gyandyagadde twogereko tujja kuba tujogera kwano ku the Alternative Dig Talk ku share enganzi the Snap Talk.
Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
It is the second hour of the Mighty Drive, and I am still with Counsel Chanwat. Atugambye Chanwat litegeeza okubeeraawo nga tolina relatives naye nga ate in actual sense you have relatives. You know, these names also. If you ask me what my name means, I actually don't know, but I think my father knows. But I think my father, because I do not want to know, I have deliberately decided not to know what my name means. And everyone will ask me, everyone I say my name, like, what does it mean? I'll tell them I don't know. Because like if I know, I will be now explaining to people, it means this, it means this. I actually decided to say, I do not know what it means. You need no, I do not need to know. Edgar. Join in the discussion by calling in our studios. Our studio number is 0789 017 145. 0789 017 145. So tukubirako noyogerako ne Counsel Chanwat manyi mujja tugamba lero program tujifudde ya Luzungu because the guest we have is very comfortable with English. He does not know Luganda, so
did you ask him Luganda? Counsel, can you speak?
No.
My Luganda is only for bargaining.
It is for bargaining.
Don't say that.
Neka kumita nyina biri. We are live on Facebook. Mkwano genda yo mbiro wansi ku live yaffe tekamu question yo in the comment section. I will be reading the question and Counsel will be answering all your questions. Munange you abatulindira ku YouTube, you will wait up to around 11 or 10:30 okubanga ate program tugiteekayo namwe msharinge your own ideas mtubulire mwe mlowooza ki. We still have human rights here in Uganda. At what percentage are they? So we are still having the Mighty Drive up 9 a.m. and this is the Alternative Dig Talk. I am with Edgar, and in the studios we have Counsel Chanwat Geoffrey. Tugenda kanga ate tumutwalira ddala mpaka eri. The second hour is always to react to your questions, your suggestions, your calls, so please call in. I'm reading again our studio line 0789 017 145. So tukubirako nobuuza kyoyagala okumanya. Counsel.
Counsel, you talked about Facebook. We're truly live on Facebook. Counsel, Facebook is closed right now. But is this a human rights violation? I would love to know. and the Ugandan out there, how is it a human rights violation, and what is the way forward for us? People who are working on millions of people who are working on social media, on Facebook predominantly, because it has the biggest numbers of people. In Uganda here we have 3.7 active Facebook users, but they are no longer, using Facebook. How do we go about this, Counsel?
Actually, I used to think that the president forgot.
He did
that
forget.
He closed. But when he came out and said we do not need Facebook in Uganda, then I the man still remembers, and we do not.
I asked myself, are the bananas still blossoming? The bananas are there. Is the milk still coming out of the cows?
Yeah.
They are there. We don't need Facebook.
We don't need Facebook.
Counsel should react to that. Tell us, educate us, by the way, because we don't know what
Well, we are in a country where service has been blocked, but then even the government is using VPN to access the service. Yeah, you've seen.
That's a paradox.
You've seen government information coming in through Facebook. Yeah,
True.
Their channels are very active.
Parliament is working. It's very parliament.
Yeah.
Their page is
Most
very
especially these addresses, like they will post on Facebook.
Yeah.
The president will address the nation Saturday.
Yeah, so that is how serious we are. Yeah, but looking at the digital environment in Uganda here, we have seen businesses, we have seen individuals, we have seen institutions flourish because of the free service by, for instance, platforms like Facebook. So in one way or another, it is economically affecting the country at large in terms of the income being generated. You've seen these online stores that advertise their stuff. There are young individuals that have shops in town, and they use Facebook to advertise because it has a
lot of people.
Yeah. So these platforms here play a key part in the economy. But I'm happy that even in its closure, people are sneaking into, to access the service. VPN has done it. Yeah, but generally it's a gross violation on freedoms such as expression, freedoms. People have been meeting online and all that. So it violates certain freedoms that we need to seek redress from court. Whereas the system is a bit slow, the justice system is slow. We thought that by now there would be an opening. Yeah, but when it comes to the digital environment, there are issues that have never been addressed. For instance, the internet shutdowns, both in the previous 2 elections. Yeah, so these are things that just come and Ugandans easily forget. Yeah.
And Ugandans have a problem of forgetting.
Yeah,
Speaking about forgetting, I don't know what's wrong, but Counsel, we forget a lot.
Yeah.
But let's
Do
still.
we really forget?
We
or
forget.
We just ignore things.
No, we actually forget.
No, we get used. I think.
Yeah.
Actually, we get used, and then
To the
now,
system?
we get used to the new normal.
This is the new
now,
normal?
it is now like Facebook. We know, even if we quarrel, go to the streets, unless if the president wants to open
But you see,
Facebook, he
Counsel,
will not
I
open
think
it.
what
But
you-
have we seen lawyers go to court and actually
Petition
petitioning
government
for closing down Facebook? Or
and Facebook and the internet itself.
I think there is a case in court.
for
about-
internet there is, but for Facebook
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, Uganda is an innovative country. Now we are manufacturing buses. We hope that we shall make our own Facebook as well. So,
They're manufacturing buses.
yeah. So I think, I don't want to say we easily forget, but
But which is true.
I think that sometimes it's too much. We are too busy.
Are we too busy?
I think we are too busy to
mind very many
survive.
things.
No, not to mind very many things, but we are too busy to survive. Now you're going to be here thinking of, I'm going to do this, I'm going to
My
deal
kid
with
has
this
to go
guy.
to school,
Your
we have
kid
to
has
eat.
to
Now
start with
you get
eating
a
first.
Facebook,
I mean, it's a bigger fight that you know you cannot win. So you'd rather focus on what have my children eaten today? What is the way forward for tomorrow? Fees, and terms are very short. You have to raise this amount of money every now and again. You have rent, you have so much responsibility that you find that you don't forget, but you opt to just focus on things that your priority. Yeah. So ideally, certain things cannot be addressed by an individual, but can be addressed communally. if all Ugandans simply said that, you know what, we want Facebook back. Yeah, it cannot be an individual fight like you, Edgar, and I. No, we can go to court, but it will take a bit of time. But if there is, the public opinion plays a key part. Yeah.
But public opinion, we know, has been suppressed in this country for a while.
Yeah.
Even a gathering of more than 40, in fact 10, you are seen to. You see that, I don't know, we're already guilty before you even accused of anything.
So I think when you say that, I totally agree with you. You've seen, I don't want to say that the CCTV cameras are meant to, curb crime, but for me it looks like there's another motive behind it. So all these sort of issues are meant to curtail certain freedom of expression, association.
I have a call.
Someone's calling.
Hello, good morning. You are watching the My Drive.
Good morning.
I've lost him. You can call in our studio line 0789 017
Counsel is here to answer your questions.
Counsel will answer your questions. He was finishing a point before I chip in with my other question.
Yeah. So I was speaking of certain innovations that are meant to. They look like they are for the public good, and yet we are not seeing the effect in terms of fighting, for instance, crime. Yeah. So
I have another call. Hello, good morning. Yep. May I know who is this and where are you calling from?
Yes, good morning. My name is Norman.
Oh, good morning, Norman. You are on the Mighty Drive.
Thanks for hosting Counsel Chanwat. A quick one.
Yeah.
There are so many mushrooming organizations in the country, and I am aware that he's aware. How different is his organization from the rest? Because every now and again, when people get disagreements in a certain organization, they begin theirs. So how different is his? Secondly, there is a very big challenge with such organizations in terms of bureaucracy. Either have issues, and then there is this, send an email, let it first reach US, and then here approvals, lots of bureaucracy. So you wonder how effective his organization has been, how his organization is, how his organization intends to be in as far as fighting bureaucracy, in fact, unjustifiable bureaucracy. Because you see, they are dealing with a very sensitive matter when it comes to rescue activists and also in terms of rapid response and rescue. So as an activist in this country, I have had so many concerns and reports from various young people who knock onto such doors, and such doors are as hard as aluminium, so you never respond immediately. May I hear his response?
Okay, thank you, Norman. Counsel will respond to you.
So, Counsel,
we start with Norman's questions.
How different is Strategic Response International from other organizations?
Yes, I think the caller raises very valid points. We have seen organizations break into two, into 3, 4, 5, 6, so they become opposition to each other. Yeah, but nonetheless, I think we cannot limit the flow of mushrooming organizations, because it's all about ideas. It's all about providing getting an idea that you think can help the society. For instance, if Edgar and I have an organization and we first agree that, you know what, for us, I would say, okay, me, I want the diplomatic way. We are doing the same thing, yeah? And then Edgar says, you know what,
I want a radical way.
Me, I want the radical way. And then we disagree. Well, both achieve, yeah? One is risky, the other one is less risky. So these are ideas that keep on growing. So I think we cannot limit them. However, we have to be careful when dealing with them. Yeah, so right from the inception of SRI, like I told you, we started as a loose coalition. We were just freelance lawyers who would just, hey, how are you? I'm here, police bond. you are there. Yeah. Oh, here again. Hey, man, I'm still here. Can you go the other side? And then he's like, hey, where? What time? Okay, let me finish here and I go. So that sort of commitment towards providing robust legal support, well knowing that legal support is really urgent, we decided that we would cut the bureaucracy. I think that goes into Norman's question. But before I address that, how different we are is that we avail to you the nearest lawyer. So even in a place where we don't have offices, at least we have an individual lawyer there who believes in our work. And we are able to say, you know what, so-and-so is having an issue, could you respond maybe at Karuhanga police station? And then however busy that person may be, he will reach there after some time. The time may not be as long as Brian getting onto the bus to go to Karuhanga, you know. So that is how different we are. So we want to provide the legal support that you need in real time. And the key word there is real time.
Yeah. Help when you help
exactly.
Real time.
Yeah. So even when it comes to bureaucracy, I think that's the second question. That approach already cuts the bureaucracy. Yeah. So all you have to do is to reach out to the secretariat. Okay. Personally, I'm very responsive to email. I may not pick up your call, but I will reply to your email in less than 2 minutes. Yeah, that is how committed I am.
That's how different you are. Many of us, it's easy for us to just pick up a call than to respond to an email.
Yeah, so that is how we have appreciated this work. So we've decided to cut bureaucracy through the approach that we've taken, that we don't have to be in one place. We don't have to have offices everywhere. We just have to have people in the right places. So if we have someone in one region, even if it is one lawyer, that is sufficient to, instead of transporting Edgar from Kampala to Kanungu or from to Nuoya, where I come from, yet we can easily get someone from maybe Kitgum, the nearest, So
Another caller. Hello, good morning.
You guys have compelled me to come back. And if Counsel Chanwat tell us, when he sees that he's good at responding onto on email, it means, what about people that haven't gone to school? Because you see, most of the activists in this country do not even have email addresses. Which other strategy do they have for the unlearned activists? Someone is in Rwengo, where I come from, and they want support or any help from his organization. And there is this thing of sending an email, like here calling and speaking in English too much, those things. So how does this organization help the illiterate, or semi-illiterate? We'll look for another one.
Oh, thanks, Norman.
Should I answer that right away? Yeah. So to preempt that, Norman, I think I was still getting to that point, but thank you for calling back. So what we do is, because of that challenge that he mentioned, not everyone has access to email, not everyone has access to a phone. We deal with individual human rights defenders within each district. In September last year, we tracked rights violations arising from the COVID-19 pandemic, the lockdown and the restrictions. If you recall, during that time there was so much violence from the state operatives. Yeah, I remember even before the president had to come back and say, you know what, don't beat people who are in their compounds or on their verandas. Yeah, even on your veranda they would come and deal with you. You're supposed to be inside. Yes.
People were being beaten in their own house.
Yeah. So during that time we tracked these violations, and then we saw. Yeah, but our target was to deal with human rights defenders, because they were the ones on the spot, because they would keep on advocating for rights for all, keep on advocating for better systems. And during the pandemic, they were the real target. So these restrictions here were really hard on them. So we tracked their lifestyle at the time, and we saw that there was so much violation against them. Yeah. So for us, you may not necessarily call us, but because we work with individual human rights defenders in various communities, so
you will identify the person.
Yeah. So all we know is that if, for instance, Edgar is very vocal in his village, we directly deal with Edgar, and Edgar will be able to report to us, in case of anything. Yeah, but also we are looking at the technological transformation that we want to avail a tool that we will equip human rights defenders such as Edgar, that Edgar can easily report a violation to us directly and we're able to respond. So the coordination part is between Edgar and us, yeah? But the other options remain open, the telephones, the emails, and then the WhatsApps, we are all over the place. Yeah, so we are not just limited to emails. We have all those other options, but for the category that Norman is talking about, we have human rights defenders. I am very sure that in every region at least one human rights defender will identify with us and probably send us information.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before Edgar, before you chip in with that question, I really want Counsel to tell us, do you do pro bono?
Yes, we do pro bono.
How do you sustain yourself? Where do you get sustenance finances from?
Yeah, as a team leader of the organization, it is my job to fundraise. So we make sure that we have some minimum resources to be able to respond to these violations. So as a lawyer in our network, we don't have to give you a full tank of fuel. We don't have to hire for you a car. We don't have to do this for you. But because of the commitment that you have and the values that you share with us, we are able to provide you a modest transport to facilitate you to go and do this work here. Yeah. Yeah. So if the case takes, for instance, more than a day, then we are able to accommodate you, we're able to feed you, we're able to do, as long as you're doing that. So there is nothing like, okay, for this job, I'm billing you guys 1 million. No. So we only give you the modest, facilitation. Yeah.
Like a transport,
exactly. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's the nature of the work. So we don't meet as much as more than 1 million just to respond to one case. Yeah. So all we need is your time and then your energy to go there.
Okay. There is one gentleman, he's a law student as well, I think a graduate right now. He says, have you had any issues of state stopping you from pursuing violations?
Before you answer that, I have a call here.
You have a call.
Yeah. Hello, good morning. This is the Night Drive.
The Mighty Drive, good morning. Kato from Barara.
Oh, yes, Kato.
Yes, first of all, I take this opportunity to thank that lawyer for the great work that he's doing. But a simple one from me. Yeah, as you may all be aware that most people in the hard-to-reach areas are not aware and are not conversant with their rights, human rights to be specific.
Yes.
And much as some of them may be aware of their rights, and only they know this is my right, I have a right to freedom, a right to information, right to blah, and so many things. But as SRI, do they have that other segment or that opportunity to educate the people about their rights and their duties to this country? Not only knowing this is my right, I have a right to do this, a right to ABC, right to education, they know their rights, their duties to the country. And how is SRI managing that so that people can know their rights and as well know their duties to the country?
Okay,
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kato.
It talks about education. There's another person?
You will call again. Still line 0789-017-145. Is he first reacting to your question, then to Kato's?
Yes, it was definitely first. Because this one is also another law student who has sent me a text and he's like, have you had any issues of state stopping you from pursuing these particular violations?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, so the yes is some cases are really, I want to call them not special, but They are held, classified for lack of a better word.
Lack of a better, let's use classified cases.
And so you will be blocked from even accessing a police station, you know. But it's not outright blocking you. You will go to a police station, for instance, where the issue is, because that's where most of these cases arise. Yes. And then they'll tell you, the in charge is not around. You wait, we don't know where he has gone. Yeah. Now, this is a public officer. Yeah, this is a public officer who is supposed to be in his office, at least within the working hours, most of the working hours. So sometimes you go and wait there all day long and then all that. Yeah. So yes, we are being stopped in certain cases, particularly cases that are political in nature. If you've seen political activists, their cases are sort of taken as a special one. Yeah, the procedure is rushed. Yeah, they always want to beat the 48-hour deadline and then produce someone in court and all that. So in such cases, we just have to wait for. We just leave the police issue. And we go to court. But also, over time, we have learned that most of these cases die at inception. Yes, they'll just inconvenience you by detaining you for more than a week or even less. And then once you're done, you'll give a bond, and then they'll never call you again. Yeah, so yeah, it's just a torture sort of.
They just they want to traumatize your mind.
Yeah, exactly. So a weak-hearted activist will say, "I swear, I will never go back." You know.
Farida.
Yes.
This one is not weak-hearted.
I am not. I have another call. Hello, very good morning. This is the night drive.
Good morning. My name is Counsel.
Yes,
good morning, Chanwat.
Good morning, Scovia.
I want to really appreciate the work that you're doing in the rapid response department and network. I know it's a difficult one. I do associate with you when it comes to resources, not just money, but even human beings who are ready to devote their time to doing rapid response on human rights. It's very difficult. And so I called really to applaud your work and just to say that we do appreciate you and all the efforts that you're putting in offering strategic response to human rights advocates and activists. So thank you very much. I do associate with the difficulties that comes with. And just to say that hang in there, maybe as time goes on, very many people will be willing to actually join in this noble cause. But thank you for the initiative.
Thank you, Scovia, for always watching the night drive.
Scovia is unended for you. There's another caller?
Yeah, but I think we will call again. The studio line is 789-017-145. We've missed you. We ask you call again.
Counsel,
Counsel hasn't reacted to Kato's question.
Yeah,
I want him to first finish that question.
Yeah, I had finished the yes.
Yes.
So now I'm going to the no. Yeah. So the no is that we have not been blocked sometimes because our approach is really not, against the state. We are not radical. We come in a professional manner and we want to deal with you in a professional manner. We shall not exchange words with you, we shall not abuse you, we shall not, but we want to deal with you diplomatically. Whereas we admit that there may be an offense, there may be, there may be an issue that the state or the police think that is a violation to our laws. Yeah, we admit that and then we are like, okay, now we talk diplomatically. So that approach has also helped us a lot. And we have friends now at the police. So when they see us, sometimes they're like, "Oh, you guys, you again? Today you are people." Yeah, I remember one time there was a protest, and if you remember those days, somebody took those days of coffins, take a coffin to the street, and that was Parliamentary Street. So when I went to CPS to get this guy out, the police officer said, "You are the one who is defending this coffin people. You are the one. God will punish you." And then I'm like, okay. So I'm like, okay. But nonetheless, we proceed. So there's always that judgment, because we don't discriminate. For you, you must have done this for us to defend you. Yeah, but our interest is purely human rights, pro-democracy, and generally social justice. If you're fighting for a cause that is noble for others, we want to deal with you. We provide you our services. So we've worked and closely with the police and other state actors, and we have succeeded. Yeah, so that is a no bid.
This question had a part B before you go to Kato's question. It said, if yes, do you seek external help in case the state intervenes with your work, and which help is this that you seek?
Yes, we do seek external help. We have partners who have probably more funding, who have probably more resources, or probably more expertise, and we work closely with them to ensure that we are not stopped where we are, where we feel we are failing, where we feel we are crippling. We always reach out for those other people. There are people with bigger platforms in terms of advocacy, in terms of negotiation with the state. They have a higher standing than us. That one I can admit. So we have partner organizations that we deal with. Yeah.
All right. Continue with the question of Kato. He talked about education. You educate people about their civic rights and things like that. Duties.
Yes. Like I told you, our backbone was on training and empowerment of communities, even before we were organized as a Sarai. So we did a lot of community work, empowerment and provision of legal information in terms of general rights. But where we started from was northern Uganda, where there was a lot of land-related issues. Remember the power issue and so many other issues in Amuro, and we were able to provide. So that has not died. It is still a part of us. It's just that sometimes those require a lot of resources, to invest in. But we are open to having discussions over media, the free media, Facebook and other social media, to just give information to others. Yeah, but we are able to provide that. It's just that we are trying to organize ourselves to get the necessary resources and then do a training. So what we have in our pipeline for now is a training of human rights defenders on the Human Rights Enforcement Act. The beauty of that act, we want to appreciate them, we want to give them what the act brings to the table. Yeah, for instance, the act does not require you to go through a lawyer to report a violation. It can just be by ordinary letter, it can just be by a petition. You don't need a lawyer. So this is information that people may not have.
Yes.
Yeah. So we are looking at trying to provide such information to people, of course, to cut the legal gymnastics of fighting these notice of motion, affidavits and support. So we want to provide the alternative of this legal system. Yeah.
He seeks to provide an alternative like we seek to provide an alternative in the media today. We are diversifying the media and giving people platforms, amplifying them to make them actually better. Ladies and gentlemen, 32 minutes past 8 a.m. My name is Edgar Mathew Karuhanga. In studios, I am with Farida Bikobere and Mr. Chanwat Brian Geoffrey, human rights lawyer. So we have a couple of more questions that have been coming through from you, the viewers. But before I delve into what you were asking, remember you can still call in live. The number is 0789017145. Noti musanvu munana mwenda noti emu musanvu emu nyatano. Remember, we're on Facebook, the page is The Alternative Uganda, and on YouTube, we are always there. A few minutes from now, my producer Arnold Mukose Anthony abayazi waniseyo da kumutimbaga nomba msolo kuzifuna anytime soon. Tubuzeko bibuze ebirala. Brian, I think there is a problem. There are mass human rights violations. And when I'm talking about mass human rights violations, I'm talking about cases like what was in Kasese. Over 300 people died, and up to now, many people have not been accounted for. We don't know who was charged and anything like that. But that was a mass human rights violation. We saw it in Acholi, where you come from. That was in the 90s. Many people were killed at once. But these mass violations, up to now, the perpetrators have not been seen. Counsel, how do you go about advocating for such cases? Do you even advocate for such cases, and or how it's beyond the league? We don't want SRI to go down the drain, because we know the moment you touch some, some topics like those ones in this country, you're definitely going for the gutters.
Yeah, I agree with you. The right situation in this country is wanting, whereas we have very good laws that protect and promote human rights.
Yes.
There is always that gap for violation of the same rights that are meant to be protected and promoted. So the Kasese, the November 18th and 19th.
Yes, I had even forgotten that. 50 people plus.
Yeah. These are not isolated cases. These are well planned and executed cases, I think, with orders that are meant to crush any individual.
I like the word you've used, crush.
Yeah, because it is a famous word. Yeah, yeah. When they say we shall crush you. Yeah. So it is important that Ugandans know that we have these laws. However, there is a challenge when it comes to the implementation. There are some people in this country whom laws not necessarily may affect. Don't know whether they are just big fish, big dogs, But I admit that there are those violations that occur. As an entity, we are able to take on such matters, but it is also important to note that these are matters that cannot be taken by one individual. Yeah, I am happy to note that, for instance, the November killings, the Kasese killings, I think those issues are in court. Yeah, we just have to wait and see what the outcome may be. Yeah, but it's a big fight. It's bigger than SRI, it's bigger than myself, it's bigger than each and every entity in Uganda, but it is not big as big as all entities combined advocating for the same justice. Yeah.
Counsel, I like the way lawyers. I've hosted a couple of lawyers on this show. I'm so fortunate to do that. But all of them have this blind faith in the law. Like they're in court. It will work out. You just have to. That's how you assure Ugandans. Well, I feel like sometimes.
Is it a blind faith, or is it because it is the only option they have to take? I mean, they have to go to court. Is there anywhere where a lawyer can go apart from
We
court?
cannot go on the streets.
No, they can't go to the streets because they have.
The law of Uganda. The law of Uganda is like Macron's. They're so it can be taken in any direction. Yeah, this one wants this. There's a way our law is no longer sacred.
Yeah, I agree totally. But nonetheless, as lawyers, it is our trade. When you file your petition, you are sure but the outcome is what matters. Yeah. So if you lose hope from the word go, then
but then, Counsel, I want to ask you something, because I'm going to compare Uganda's constitution. Let me compare it to that of Kenya. You see that Kenya's they have the audacity of repeating an election, and and they say this was not allowed. It was null and void. So we are repeating the whole process. And I'm looking at a constitution like that of the United States, where the amendments for democracy that has been there for 400 years, they have not amended their constitution not even more than 30 times. But they still protect their constitution, and their constitution is still above all. Why do you think ours has refused to have that level where you can say that the constitution but here, when someone wakes up and they feel there is a clause in the law that is affecting them, they will just amend it easily. Why is it that ours is easily amended, and then we have countries that have really stood their grounds?
Well, you've given very good examples. I want to respond in this way.
Yes.
That these are systems. It's a system. You can't play around with the system. Whereas in Uganda,
that can kick you out once you play around with it.
Exactly. Whereas here in Uganda, it is more of a person, interest, survival, So we end up playing with certain provisions of the law to enable us move to the next stage. Otherwise, if our law was as static and not as Macron as an example you gave, then we would be very far. So the fact that we see that this provision is limiting our interest as a party, as a country, we touch it. And again we say, I think we misfired the other time, let us retouch it, you know. Then you touch it again. Then I think we made a mistake, then again you come back. Yeah. So it is it's a challenge, we admit it, but there's nothing we can do about it because they're following the right procedures. Yeah, because all these amendments are done by Parliament, so it's not that it comes from the head, whereas it may come from the head, but it directs the people to do it the right way. Yeah, so they move on smartly. Yeah, so it's a smart survival mechanism. So in the US, this is a system that is solid. You found it there, you're going to leave it there. Yeah.
I wonder what.
But here,
he came with it.
He came.
He came with it, so
put
he
it
can
there.
amend it.
Exactly, as long as it can.
As long as it fits.
Yeah.
The public is interested.
Where do we get to the Abraham Lincolns of this world who think about others, think about the future generation other than themselves?
But I say the public is interested. I didn't say Edgar, I'm going to be reading all these questions and then you'll be reading the comments on Facebook. My Facebook has misbehaved. I don't know why. It shows 30 comments and I am only seeing 3. I do not know what that means. God knows. Anthony is asking, many human rights lawyers, especially those that offer pro bono legal services to activists, love cameras more than services and they are always active in such cases before suspects get court bails where cameras are many, but when but stop representing them during the hearing sessions after the disappearance of the cameras. How different is SRI from such legal firms?
Mukolera
kamera wana abali abangi nga bakabakwata ba activists buli station ebeerawo ekwata eggulire lyeri balyocha naye kasita baba wabbe ne batandika okurepresenting eri mu court nanti cameras bazigenze nga n'abalooya babula. How different is SRI?
Okay, that question is very interesting. I must tell you that it's also a technique that you use the camera to, you know,
for people to know you.
Yeah, to get to be known, to get to be appreciated that, yeah, this guy is doing the right thing. So it is important to not to dismiss them because of cameras and also accuse them to be there for camera. But
let them be there when the cameras are, and even when cameras are not there, they should be there.
Yes, I agree with you. But there are very many lawyers who are doing this without any cameras. The cameras, by the way, the cameras are only here in Kampala because this mobile studio can move and find the crime where it is and they broadcast live. Now here in the village, there are no cameras. A journalist will come and write a story, they go and read it in the news at 10. You know, so it's not, there are literally no cameras. So these issues depend on the society.
Yes.
Here in Kampala, the cameras are there, everything is available, lawyers, you know, the pomp, the romp and all that. Yeah, but there are so many lawyers who are doing these things with passion, just like we are. We don't want to, even the cases that we've handled, we don't want to post them on social media for privacy reasons, yeah? Because if we help, for instance, Edgar, or even you, we are not going to post that we have got you out on bond. Yeah, however, we can, if for instance you've been arrested, we can advocate and say, please release Edgar, please release, you know, so and so. Yeah, so that's the advocacy strategy. Yeah, but the cameras play a big part in shining also. So
you need the cameras.
You also need the camera.
Let people prosper.
Counsel, I would love to ask, you know, there are many people you've defended and they've been compensated. We gave an example like that of Francis Zake. He was told, the court directed he should be compensated by 75 million shillings. But then, many of these people don't get the compensation. How, because there are various, many people who up to now are still seeking compensation that was given to them like 15 years ago. Ninga sente tebazifuna ngaya koti ya salawo oyo bamuwe sente ze we bamulirire bamuchunya oba bamukola we but ninga sente tebazifunye. Counsel, how do you go about such people, victims of human rights abuses, and they have not actually got the compensation, and yet court actually directed they get the compensation?
Yeah, I will tell you that the money is there, but certain offices are still in a mess. For instance, the Attorney General's chamber is still in a mess. We hope that the new Attorney General will reorganize the entire office so that compensations are done, are cleared. But also, you know, our Uganda, that there are brokers everywhere.
Yes.
If, for instance, Edgar is given a compensation of maybe 1 billion, I'll go to Edgar and say, Kati boss, I can get you that money, but
Like 30%.
that is very little. They take like half. Right?
Yes.
But 50%, I retain it. You get it tomorrow.
And there are those that even say that omanyi bakuwadde bitano nze ngenda kuwa bisatu cash
Manje ziri.
Chivemu.
Chivemu.
Yeah, that's the brokery we're talking about. So those who have been compensated, who don't have access to these brokers, have not got their compensation because they are following the due process. Now the due process is really, really slow. We hope that the Attorney General will address these concerns. Yeah.
Chiro Wachiwanuka is the new Attorney General,
Yes,
by the
and
way.
he's a very smart guy.
And he's a very smart person. I'm thinking, let me wait
I
and
personally
see.
have so much hopes in him.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I've seen what the job he has done at Express FC,
Yeah.
a club that I like.
Yeah.
But you see, he's someone. Even his character, his profile, really, he's a good man. Let's hope he's going to do something
Yeah,
different.
I strongly believe that he'll do a
Because
good
they
job.
come into power and they become different people.
Yeah.
Let me just check through the messages we have here on Facebook. By the way, you've come to the end of the show. Let me see. Jeremiah Muchibi, thank you for the show. Bitengi Culture Ware. I don't know if I've pronounced your name very well. Thanks for the show. That's a message she says. And Anita Musimenta, all eyes at the mighty drive. Thank you, Counsel Chanwat. Good morning. Okay, good morning to you too. Sema and Allison, Ford, Kato, Cruz, Julius, all of them are watching. I'm a full-time defender of human rights. I like the way Counsel Chanwat has put it. Yes, and then this one talks about never allow garbage thrown at you by the people around you to guide your life. Thank you, Farida, for that comment. Yes. This one is talking about the meaning of Chanwat. He likes it surprisingly. Okay, yes. To me, no man, are they just isolated abuses of human rights, or rather intentionally isolated abuse of human rights? Is it intentional?
Yes and no as well. Yes, some are very isolated.
Yes.
But it's very unfortunate that they happen. But some are intentional. For instance, you've seen the torture. You cannot show somebody their back and then they have whips, and then you think that, yeah, that's intentional now. But there are these other things. They are torturing you. Maybe they don't know that you're asthmatic. Then you go, you collapse, so you get injured in the process. Nenga is just there, Yeah.
Kelly Wine, the only, says, that's Museveni for you. We have seen him promoting people like Herweru and uprising such people. That was a diversion. He doesn't want the public to concentrate on Zombo's situation. Okay, man, people have theories here. Yeah. Then to Musime Kato, we are always grateful. Let me see. I'm on. Much love, Edgar. Oh, thank you. And yes, I think Aaron Kiza is also here already. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. I think the messages is a singer you're saying thank you, man. Thank you so much. We also thank you people for watching the Mighty Drive every day. Someone dedicating your 2 hours and make sure that you follow the conversation on social media and on Facebook that has been predominantly locked down now. We just have to say gratitude. Thank you so much. We have Counsel Chanwat Brian. He's already in studios. We've come to the end of the show, but before we go, Counsel, what is the future of the SRI? What are some of the things you have for us and the people out there? What should they expect?
Well, Our fight, our struggle, our commitment to human rights defense is still unquestionable, undoubtable. We continue to strive to see a generation that respects rights.
Thank you.
Yeah, so as young lawyers, I think it is our motivation that we continue the struggle, we continue the fight, and I want to encourage any other lawyer out there, just find a file and do something for an activist. Yeah, their cases are rather straightforward, yeah, so it is important that we have more and more lawyers aboard to see that we achieve as a generation that human rights protection and promotion are upheld. Yeah.
I like it when you use the word generation. That means you're not thinking about yourself.
Yeah, ours is a generational cause. Yeah.
Yes, and I think it is us to do that. You as a lawyer, then me as a journalist, Farida as a journalist and a stroke teacher. By the way, she's a teacher no kola. So means that I think it's now time that everybody in their own level, in their own class, we should start something that is going to change the generations to come.
Absolutely.
Because our leader, our past generation, our fathers have really, to some extent, disappointed us.
Yeah.
Because when you look at Omuruvu, Gwebalina, those things, I don't know, it feels like they are doing things thinking the world is going to end today. But the world is still there. We found it there. We're going to leave it there. It's better that we leave it better than we found it. Counsel, give us...
let me just make this straight. I'm happy that there are very many human rights defenders out there. I just want to remind them that human rights defense work is very unique. It is very peaceful. We don't use violence. And that is what defines a human rights defender, is anybody who stands for the rights of others, other than themselves, peacefully. So we don't expect HRDs to throw stone, attack and all that, but use the systematic approach towards achieving justice. Yeah, so it's about dialoguing, it's about talking to the people in charge and telling them that this and this and this can be done this way. So human rights defenders provide the alternative as well, peacefully. So that is just what I wanted to make clear.
Okay. Gatuma, you have a question, Farida?
Yeah, but it's not to Counsel Chanwat. William is asking me, when you talked about garbages, what exactly did you mean? Maybe it may not be him alone. Okay, people with garbages, frustrations, family problems, domestic violence. People battling.
Tell them that garbage was a symbol. It was just a symbol to me.
To collect all that in one item. So it's not this garbage that you collect from your home and in Kasasiro, no. Everything abantu bayina bingi. So ajana waliyo sanze ko kumulimo omuntu no mukola kanjero nava ko nayombera ddala. Not react no gamba yi kabadde katono nyobadde ensaaga. Nowadays people's hormones are high. Any small thing it will trigger their emotions. Yes. People are so emotional. Yasuzenjala gojo musagira ko nga yatabusedda. So ngamba don't react to them. Abantu bali bubi, so learn to take in things without reacting. Learn to just ignore people. Okay, and situation na kuvira mu muntu nayomba na nyigira nodala ngato baddo saga. It's not because inti abadaya naye ayine ebirala bya battlinga byatabagamba kati any small trigger abagenda fakabira emotion omula
stress. Can you have your own problems and now you start inflicting them on another person?
Yes, it's possible. It's very possible.
You see, yeah, it's possible.
The situation under which we are living now has affected a lot of our psychological. Actually, I think all Ugandans need psychological support. The lockdown, coming out of it.
By the way,
so the mental health institutions need to come up with a program which is free of charge, which can cover a large number of Ugandans. People are depressed. People are. You say this, they understand the opposite. So it's very
As we're getting done with the show, please just tell us. We like to end on a light note, by the way. So you can even close your books. So it's already done.
Sure.
The show is done. So what we want to know: what do you like to do in your time when you're free? You're not doing anything. Your free time.
It's not human rights.
It's not human rights. It's maybe you and you have another special person. We don't know if there is that special person.
Yeah.
So what do you like to do in your free time?
Well, I do quite a number of things. I like to, sometimes I read a lot. Then sometimes I also just decide to sleep. These early mornings really cost us a lot, so my weekends are purely sleeping. And then visiting probably a few people, and then that's it. But purely, I'm a home guy now. I like to stay at home. Like I've been all over the place. I've done everything, so I feel like retirement bucket.
2 days we should be home.
Yeah. So everybody does not believe when they see me at home, but
That's you.
Kale, Counsel, you married, or if someone who's watching you and they would want to have themselves for you or you for themselves? I don't know.
I am not married, but also not available. So.
I was seeing the compliments. Chanwat for you, ladies and gentlemen. We've come to the end of the show. We had Counsel Chanwat Brian Geoffrey. He is a very, very interesting character. He's reserved, but yeah, he makes a point. Ladies and gentlemen, let's meet tomorrow. We'll have Farida and Arnold with Mulangira Nachivinge will be returning tomorrow. And today, the Voltage show at exactly 7 p.m. The beautiful Luwede Lydian Princess. Agenda kubera wawo no mwami Mayanja ngaline omwami Machagwa Robert, yes, politician wa NRM. Yes, agenda kubeerawo leero ku ssaawa emu paka ssaawa 3. Magic ono kubanga abatuukako buli lunaku tekibeera fefeka. We're just the source, the voices, but the people who make the magic happen is Arnold Mukose Anthony, ye programs director, command center, then producer waffe Teddy Tenjo at Ted Tenjo on Instagram, then Nomami Rogers Studio Habwe yali ku camera at Rogers Studio Habwe ku Twitter, then our director Badman Kato naye wali okubanga making the magic happen. I've worked with Farida Bikobere and Counsel Chanwat. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope to see you soon. Anytime, we will be waiting for you. And yes, we've come to the end of the show. My name is Edgar Mathew Karuhanga Katunange Kansimbule Tusimbude. Good morning.
Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.